The earthquake left Martin's apartment with cracks so wide you can see through to the street. He and his family have been forced to evacuate for now. Mixed with his anxiety for the future is anger. His building is only 7 years old. He says it should have emerged unscathed.
I feel frustrated that what we have is all gone. I'm angry with the company that they didn't do what they promised. Angry with the authorities who didn't check that this was built according to regulations.
After parts of Mexico City were flattened by the 1985 earthquake, building protocols were tightened to stop the same thing happening again. But despite much stricter rules, several recently built apartment blocks collapsed or were badly damaged in last week's quake. Residents have been asking why. Earthquake and construction expert Edgar Tapia is checking damaged buildings for free. He says the rules do work, but in practice companies can ignore them to cut costs.
If they'd applied the rules, the new buildings would have performed better. Money plays a role. Sometimes the construction companies go for the cheapest option and look to lower costs to increase their profits.
We asked 3 construction companies, all of which built apartment blocks damaged in the quake, for interviews, but we got no answer. The head of civil protection in one of the hardest hit areas says that once building plans are approved by authorities, any deficiencies are the responsibility of those companies.
The government doesn't have the human capacity to supervise the building process and see what type of materials the building companies are using.
There are government agencies charged with overseeing construction, but we're told some officials are easily paid off. Despite the problems, only an estimated 10 to 20% of buildings that collapsed in Mexico City were newer ones. Damage is far more prevalent in older buildings that were built before the 1985 earthquake and the subsequent improvement in construction protocol. And experts say that since then there has been a real marked improvement in building standards. Both the government and experts agree that this latest earthquake is another painful reminder that construction standards and regulations should be strengthened once again. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.